So this month's coding break is on the topic of the SEER inquiry system and its Ask a Registrar feature. This is a resource available to all CTRs and non-CTRs who need advice on specific topics, which are related to cancer and abstracting, such as histology, primary site, and solid tumor rules clarification. The objectives for today's call are to introduce you to the SEER inquiry system, or SYNC, provide instructions on how to access the site, review how to search the site for questions and create reports, and learn how to submit your own question in the Ask a SEER Registrar section. So SEER provides multiple resources for abstracting via the seer.cancer.gov/registrars/website. And from the main menu, you can access the SEER program coding manual, the hematopoietic database manual, or the database and the manual, and the solid tumor rules, as well as the SEER RX drug database. This page also provides announcements related to updates and changes, and you can bookmark this page for individual links for future use when abstracting, just for ease of access. So we have now entered the home screen of the SEER inquiry system. And per the site, the SEER inquiry system, or SYNC, is a searchable collection of questions that cancer registrars have had while coding cancer cases. And these are questions submitted by designated registrars in SEER registries. The questions are answered by expert staff and go through a rigorous review process by the NCI SEER staff and our designated SEER registry staff before beginning to add to the SYNC website. This is a newly designed site as of 9/14/2021, so you do not need to have a logon to search or submit a question to SEER Inc. So we're going to begin by clicking on the green Search SYNC icon. So we can now begin our search. For today, I'm going to search based on a recent case example. It's where a patient presented to our facility with an unusual lesion on the skin of her eyebrow. The cancer is diagnosed on biopsy at an outside facility on 12/10/2019. The pathology returned pleomorphic sarcoma, and the pathologist states that the tumor best is considered pleomorphic sarcoma. So my question was whether the primary site would be coded to the skin of the eyebrow, C44-3, or subcutaneous tissue of the face, C49-0, due to the sarcoma diagnosis. What are some keywords in the examples that we can use to search the database? Dermal sarcoma, pleomorphic dermal sarcoma, or pleomorphic sarcoma. So let's try pleomorphic sarcoma to start. When searching this exact term, we get the results or a statement that there are no matches related to that topic. To adjust what results you would like to see, you would click on the display options and check or uncheck boxes to add or remove fields. The standard on that checkbox is discussion, answer, and question, so you can view these items when they appear. You can see the two results that populated based on the search criteria. So let's take a look at the results. A couple responses populate from SEER from 2016 to 2006. And if we review the questions asked, neither relate to the situation that of the primary site is clarified. Both are asking about histology coding. So when I tried searching dermal sarcoma, I received no results also, and pleomorphic dermal sarcoma also had no results. So as you can see, with pleomorphic sarcoma, the only two results really won't help us. I wanted to show you what would happen if I received lots of results on a search. So for example, when I searched the terms melanoma surgery in the search field, there were 11 results. So you can create a report with all the questions and answers with the rationale related to melanoma surgery and save these results for your future reference. You can use the Add to Report column and click on the button to turn it green. This adds that specific question to the list. And you can then export your questions and answers to an Excel report by selecting Export Results to CSV or create a web-based report within the SEER website. So if you click on the Create Report button, it opens up on your browser and you can download it to Excel. You can create a PDF or you can print the list. So if you want to open it in a new tab, you would just have to right-click on the green Create Report button and then open a link in the new tab. The Format option icon allows you to add or remove fields to view, like the question, discussion, and answer columns. But since I had no results on my recent search of pleomorphic sarcoma that are going to help me, I have reviewed all the manuals and I still have to come up with something, but there's nothing that I can get an answer on. So it's time to ask a SEER registrar. Remember, SEER pertains to the solid tumor rules or the MPH rules for older cases. It also pertains to the primary site in histology or ICD-03 coding. All the resources mentioned on the main SEER registrar page are included. If there are any questions about STOR or AJCC, those go to the CA Answer Forum. So let's get ready to ask a question. We're going to click on the Ask a SEER Registrar icon. Now, before asking the SEER question, there are some rules that SEER provides. They say to answer to the coding and abstracting questions can be found in the SEER inquiry system, just like we went over in the previous slides. But you should follow your local procedures for submitting questions to your central registry when required. And your central registry will submit the questions to SEER if needed. And please direct any questions to the CA or the Commission on Cancer CA Answer Forum about site-specific data items, grade, AJCC, or collaborative stage. You should choose the most appropriate subject for your question from the list under the reporting guidelines, and anyone can ask a question, so you do not need to be a CTR to ask. If you have a question regarding SEER staging, use the fields under the staging to ask, depending on EOD, SS 2018, or collaborative stage. And remember, questions submitted under the wrong subject require extra time to manage and will result in a delayed response, as staff must manually triage your question. If you continue to scroll down on the Submit a Question to SEER Registrar list of topics, the question form is visible. Be sure to enter a valid email address. And this does not have to be your work email. It can be a personal email that you're using. The Send a Carbon Copy button will help you, as you'll have a copy of the submission that you put in. I recommend this as you'll have a reference in your email to follow up on at a later date. Be sure your question is clear and concise. It must include the cancer site and the diagnosis year, if applicable. And you may include a contact name and telephone number, which I always recommend this if they need to contact you. Although I've never been contacted by SEER, it is something that is an option for you. You must check the I am not a robot box in order to submit the question. And then finally, submit your question by selecting the green icon. For today's example, It was 12/10/2019. Excision of skin of eyebrow revealed pleomorphic dermal sarcoma. The comment by the pathologist says tumor best considered pleomorphic sarcoma, and the question is noted as, what is the primary site? C49-0 as soft tissue of face, or is it C44-3 as the skin of the face? So you will get an email when you check that carbon copy button that looks similar to the screenshot on the current slide. Once SEER reviews the question, you will receive an emailed response, and there will be a SEER CTR number assigned to your question, and SEER will respond within this email thread with their answer and their rationale. Remember to favorite your emails to keep them for a later date, or use a SEER folder, create a SEER folder that you can put your emails in for future reference. Now, if your question is not answered, you can email them back via the same email thread to clarify or get further information. However, do not reply to the original email, the one that was a carbon copy, only the response from the SEER registrar. The original is just a copy and it will be returned undelivered. The answer via the email isn't always the best input. So when you get an answer that isn't exactly what you want, you can hit reply and you can ask further questions. Now, the answers to the email are not always in the Ask a Registrar database. So if you go to look for your particular question in the database, you may not see it. And you can use the email as rationale in your abstracting if you provide the SEER information in the text remarks. So now you have all the tools that you need to ask a question and feel confident using this website. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate the time today.